नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
डॉक्टर के हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से ऑर्गेनाइज 28 परफेक्ट हेल्थ मेला में सभी व्यूअर्स का स्वागत है। जैसा कि जानते हैं आप, ये परफेक्ट हेल्थ मेला 20 अक्टूबर से 24 अक्टूबर के बीच हो रहा है डिजिटली बिकॉज ऑफ पैंडेमिक। और डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल जी, पद्मश्री डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल जी, इस मेला को उनका ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट था और ये फिजिकली जो है दिल्ली में करीब मोर देन 25 ईयर्स से रेगुलर हर साल करते रहे, जिसमें कि बहुत से पब्लिक हेल्थ एंड अदर इश्यूज इसमें लिए जाते थे, लोगों की चेकअप, हेल्थ चेकअप और अदर इश्यूज, कल्चरल प्रोग्राम्स। और इस बार की थीम जो है वन हेल्थ इन पैंडेमिक टाइम्स, उसमें डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स, पब्लिक हेल्थ इश्यूज, एनवायरमेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज एंड अदर पैथी ऑफ दी जो वन हेल्थ का है, उसमें वो हेल्थ की है, कल्चरल प्रोग्राम, राउंड टेबल, सेमिनार, कॉन्फ्रेंस, वर्कशॉप, डिबेट, कंपटीशंस, बहुत सी प्रोग्राम्स इसमें जो है हुए। और आज जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, हमारा जो सब्जेक्ट है सोलर एनर्जी पे है। और जो आज के स्पीकर हैं श्री बालाजी एमए बेंगलोर से हैं, और इन्होंने अपने जो होटल है उसमें इस प्रोजेक्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट किया है। सोलर एनर्जी की इम्पोर्टेंस तो आप जानते ही हैं कि हमारे पास जो एनर्जी सोर्स हैं, जो थर्मल पावर प्लांट, कोल बेस्ड थर्मल पावर प्लांट या उसके बाद गैस बेस्ड थर्मल पावर प्लांट से हैं, बट इनके जो रिसोर्सेज लिमिटेड हैं, कोल की भी क्राइसिस होती है, आपको पता ही है, और गैस भी, ये सब लिमिटेड सोर्स हैं। फ्यूचर में हमारे पास हमको नेचर ने दिया है जो सन का है, और हमें सब जगह हमारे इंडिया में हम लोग ब्लेस्ड विद दी जो हमारे पास इनफ सन हमारे पास मिलता है, तो हम इसको कैसे एक्सप्लॉइट करें। और जो हमारा जो फॉसिल फ्यूल बेस्ड जो भी हमारे पास इस तरह के जो सोर्सेस हैं, जो बिल्कुल जीरो कार्बन न्यूट्रल जो हमारा कॉन्सेप्ट है कि 2050 तक है जो सभी कंट्रीज को वी हैव टू वर्क टुवर्ड्स द कार्बन न्यूट्रल, उसमें आप जो है ये भी कंट्रीब्यूशन कर सकते हैं। और जो क्लाइमेट चेंज इशू और अदर इश्यूज को भी ये नेगेट करते हैं, जो भी, इसलिए सोलर का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस है। मैं ज़्यादा न जाते हुए मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा जो हमारे आज के स्पीकर हैं मिस्टर बालाजी से, कि आज जो इन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट किया है अपने होटल में और अपने ग्रुप में, उसको बताएं हमारे व्यूअर्स को, सो दैट कि हम लोग अदर प्लेसेस पे इसको कैसे प्रैक्टिकली इन्होंने किया हुआ है, वी कैन डू दैट। ओवर टू बालाजी। थैंक यू।
नमस्कार एवरीवन, मेरा नाम बालाजी है। आई एम बेसिकली फ्रॉम बैंगलोर। I head the Kamaliya Group as a CEO, and one of our vertical is hospitality. And we have a hotel in Bangalore called Class Resortica. It's a resort. We are managing that property, and recently we have implemented 300 kVA solar energy का plant हमने plant किया है, and it's been 3 months already. We are seeing some good results. It's done by Kaval Solar Private Limited. Am I right? Private Limited, right?
Yes. Private Limited.
So we have installed about 300 kVA capacity. Our overall requirement is about 1,500 capacity, but we have done as a trial, and we started with 300 kVA. Already 3 months are done, and already we have generated in last 2.5 months, to be precise, more than 70,000 kilowatts of power we have generated, and we have saved more than 6 lakh rupees in terms of finance. So the whole idea is to use natural resources which is available. Like doctor said, in India, we are blessed with the solar energy, unlike Europe and US, some part of the states. But we have good solar energy, and we should use it. And then Mr. Rakshit and his friend, both of them were chasing us to take up this project, and we signed up the contract last year, and they did it in less than a month's time. The entire thing was implemented in less than a month's time, and we're already seeing the result. And with this, we're able to save money, and we're able to save a lot of resources, and we're also able to reduce the carbon print on the our Mother Earth. So the rest, I guess Mr. Rakshit can talk about it, because they have done a lot of research and they've been working on this day and night, and they've been implementing this project everywhere across Bangalore and Karnataka. So I would request Mr. Rakshit to give more light on this, and how one can implement this and save money, and also contribute to the to our environment. Over to you, Rakshit.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji. Hi, my name is Rakshit. This is my partner, Ashish. We both are the directors of Carbon Power Private Limited. So we started this about 6 years now, and we are mainly into commercial, industrial, and residential sectors of rooftop and land project. We have an in-house team that we do end-to-end projects, from design, procurement, until execution and maintenance. We take care of everything. Well, when it comes to solar, as a couple of people have already pointed out, we are very blessed to be in this geographical location. We can generate units throughout the year. There is a misconception that does solar actually work? So solar actually works not just on thermal energy. Solar actually works on photovoltaic technology, which works on light. So most of you have solar in your houses that has that you call it the solar water heaters. So that is dependent mainly on heat. So when the temperature rises, you get hot water. Whereas this is a much advanced technology, at the same time a very old technology. This works on light. Even when there is complete rain, complete monsoon season, you can still generate about 60 to 65% of your energy. The way we calculate is we pick up data from such websites like NASA, and we also have websites from our own Indian websites, like MNRE has their own data, where it shows you, if you put your geographical location, it tells you what is the radiation available in that location. From there, we calculate how many units I can generate in this location. So for example, when we worked with Clark's team, we took up their electricity bills and we saw what is their requirement in terms of the units. And then we did a backward calculation. Okay, this is the size of the system you need in order to generate this much number of units. And that's the way we work, and we use some latest softwares to try and achieve that in the design stage itself, so that the customer doesn't feel, okay, I have installed solar, but I'm not getting any benefit. So you should never feel that. So because of that, we always implement, in a way, we use such components that are tier 1 components from all over the world that gets you the proper generation. Having said that,
yeah, so that's on the solar part. Basically, to talk about our company, we are a company where we have executed projects from 2 kilowatt until 1 megawatt on a single rooftop. So, and we are also into land projects right now. We are building on a land-based project where, when we're talking about land, let's say an industry or a commercial property who are consuming more than a megawatt scale of power consumption, we can ask them to go on a land if they don't have the enough rooftop, and we are also in that sector. Mainly our focus is on industrial and commercial. That too, we focus mainly on MSMEs because their expenditure on electricity is more on a monthly basis, and we try to save this money for them by switching to renewable. And by switching to renewable, it's not just that they are saving the money, but they are also helping the government as well as the nature indirectly. As you all know that India, we are still yet to achieve that parity in energy production. We are heavily dependent on coal energy. We are heavily dependent on nuclear also. So by pushing green, by going wind, solar, and hydro, we are just reducing our impact on the environment. And why our company is mainly focused on solar is because this is a system where you can actually predict, okay, this is the amount of energy that I can produce on a monthly basis. Whereas it is very much difficult to do that on a wind or a hydro, because wind energy, yes, it is a proven technology, but it's a technology where you can expect to generate about 8 to 9 months in a year. But solar is one sector where you can be assured that I'm going to generate my electricity 365 days, regardless of how the weather is. Because solar works, like Rachit mentioned, solar works on the light rather than the temperature. So as long as there is light, we can generate electricity out of it.
So having said that, we would like to take this opportunity to share the video of our project at Clark's Resort. Mr. Balaji, is that okay? We'll do that?
Yeah. No problem.
1 second.
Also, kindly share by going solar how many trees we are able to save and what is the carbon dioxide we are able to avoid emitting in the environment. So all that information, it will help. And also, I would request you to also tell people, it's not just for industries, also for the houses. And by installing, what is that saving they will do and what could be the capital, investment in the beginning and how they would save month on month. If you can just throw some light on that also, it'll be great.
Sure. 1 second. Okay, I mean, we'll just go through the, I hope you guys can see a small presentation that we have. I don't know if can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, we can.
It's okay, you can go ahead, yeah.
It's not moving forward.
Yeah, it's for some reason it's not moving forward. Yeah. So anyways, while we are trying to get this working, I'll just share you some of the details of the Clark's project. The annual generation that we are expecting in terms of units for the Clark's project is 432,000 units. And they are paying a tariff of almost 10 rupees per unit. So, the lifetime savings is, it's a lot. So monthly, we are looking to save almost about 3.5 lakhs on this 300 kilowatt project. Annually, that's equivalent to almost close to 40 lakhs. The carbon dioxide emission that is mitigated through this project will be about close to 10,000 tons in its life cycle of the project. And it's equivalent to having almost 14,730 trees planted in its lifetime. So, I'm not able to share the screen for some reason here. Mr. Balaji, if you'd just like to continue for 2 minutes, I'll try and get this working.
Sir, you're on mute.
Sorry. So as Mr. Rashid said, month on month, we are saving an average 3.5 lakh rupees. And we also want to expand this project. Now we started with 300 kVA. Our aim is to make it completely renewable and we want to go for another 1000 kVA, but that we want to do it, step by step. Maybe next step, we want to implement another 300 kVA solar plant there. But with this, if all of us take a step and move forward and take this kind of project and implement. It will be great for our environment and also for the next generation of people, because currently out of every 10 people, 9 people are suffering from pollution. 9 people are suffering from pollution. But already we are, as it is, we are staying in a toxic environment. But our next generation is going to suffer even more. So what we're going to leave behind is going to be a toxic world. So by doing all this kind of renewable project, we can save Earth and then also reduce the carbon into the environment.
Mr. Balaji,
Yes, sir.
actually the about 300 kVA the plant, approximately cost of this, what is going to be, capital cost and recurring cost, that was it.
Can you share that, Rakshit, now?
Yeah, I think he's now, so he will be sharing that.
Yeah. Rakshit, over to you. Rakshit, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. So now it's working for us. The cost of a 300 kilowatt system for us, we are looking at about somewhere close to 1.2 CR. That is the cost that which for a complete end-to-end net metering facility. So what does net metering actually mean? We'll just go through this small presentation so that you guys are all clear. So some key points that we are going to cover is why rooftop solar, key points, our commitment, how solar works, components involved, what is net metering, what is gross metering, life cycle savings of a 500 kilowatt, plan, a few of our projects, and the sample bin. So 1 kilowatt of solar plant is equivalent to planting almost 49 teak trees, fully grown teak trees in its lifetime. And why do we suggest rooftop solar? Renewable, it's a renewable energy source, as all of you know. And the main thing about this is the raw material required for solar is the sun. So we are assured that hopefully the sun is never going to run out. So it's only about just tapping that source for us. And the main reason for this is you can generate your own power, thereby being less dependent on the grid or whoever you're buying power from, and you become almost self-sufficient in a way that you generate your own power required for your needs. So the three key points of solar power plant is, one, the major fact in any products that you buy is the maintenance cost. Because in solar there is no moving parts, the maintenance costs are very low. And solar panels actually comes with a 25 years warranty from the manufacturer. And normally there is a periodic maintenance that's being carried out from our company, where once in a month we go and we do the cleaning of the solar panels, and we check the wires, we check the inverters, we do clean the fans and stuff. But the wear and tear is it's not even it's not even a part of the system, because there is no moving parts. And there is something called authenticating using via net metering. We'll explain to you this once we tell you what is the.
Speak a little louder, please.
Yeah. So the protection from the discount rate inflation. What is it that probably if you guys see the utility trend in the price increases from the last 10 years, they have been increasing the unit cost throughout India, not just in Bangalore, not just in another, throughout India, from 3 to 4% on a year-on-year basis. So probably 10 years ago, we were paying 5 rupees for a commercial place. Right now, we are at 10 rupees. And if we see the graph, in another 10 to 15 years, we might reach another 15, from 10 to 15. So once you go solar, you are protected from this, because you are generating your own electricity and you are not affected what the government sets the unit price for the consumers, because you are generating your own energy and you're utilizing that. And what is our commitment when it comes to solar? When we take up an order, what is our commitment? We take up our turnkey projects starting from
the PO and you place it at once. We do the entire site survey, we do the designing, we do the procurement, we construct as well as we maintain the power plant, and we do all the licensing work. So our clients, they don't have to step out and do something from their end to get this plant moving forward. And if we build a solar power plant, we also give 1 year free maintenance the first year, and the second year we charge a nominal fees to maintain the power plant. When we say maintaining, I explained to you that we send a team out to do the cleaning and all that, as well as we do something called an online monitoring system where you can track the solar generation in real time, how much the solar is generating and how much I'm saving. And the solar monitoring system is so advanced that it will even show you if there is any problem with the solar power plant. And we have a centralized, the monitoring place where the guys will track on a string level basis, and we try to minimize the downtime by which leads to a higher generation and bigger savings. And you will also get one dedicated contact person for each and every site, where it becomes easier to coordinate on any issues. And the fourth point is the tier 1 components. We are not a manufacturer. We do not manufacture anything, so we are not limited to promoting any one brand or any one product.
Currently, where you are sourcing the solar panels?
So currently, we are sourcing the panels from China. The manufacturing units are in China. The thing about, even though if it's a US company, the manufacturing is still in China. So what happens, these tier 1 companies are not listed out by us. It's nominated by the Bloomberg Financial Institution on a quarterly basis. It's about 30 companies around the world they nominate, and the top 5 companies are the companies we choose. And we try to build the best system, so the generations are much higher. We have experimented this with many inverters and panels, and we see a big change.
So basically, as Ashish is covering, there are a lot of panel manufacturing companies all around the world, especially even in India now, there is a big boom. As you know, some of the big names, Adani is there, Vikram is there, Tata is also, Reliance, Tata, all of them are getting into it. Just around Bangalore, we have around 5-6 panel manufacturers. What's happening is the Chinese are actually the pioneers in this industry in terms of the technology, like the monocrystalline or the monoperc technology, what we are using now for the latest panels comes from a company called Dongi, who holds the patency for this technology. We buy panels from such companies. So if you go to Bloomberg, you just type in Google tier 1 panel manufacturers in the world, you'll get a list of companies. We always procure from the top 4 or 5. Your 70% of project cost in solar is panel and inverter. Your solar panel has a warranty of 25 years, which is a warranty which is covered for your generation also. So they'll give you a degradation chart. There is a degradation of 0.55% year on year. So what that means is, even at the end of 25 years, if I'm generating 100 units on the first year, I'll be generating about 84 or 85 units at the end of 25 years. If you fall back, if the panel is not able to provide that for you, they're going to directly replace the panel. So there are such things. So we tie up. We work with companies, or we import panels from companies who have been in the industry for 40 years. So there are panel manufacturers who started 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But what happens is we still don't know how well their panels are going to work. But whereas these companies started their research in the late 80s, early 90s, in fact, and they have been pushing out panels into the industry from that time. So your cost, what you're investing, is protected mainly based on the panels and inverters you're going for. The rest of the items is pretty straightforward. As long as you take care. We also take care to bring in such cables from Germany, from a company called LAP, because it has 99% purity in copper. So when you take care of certain small things, we are able to generate more units. It all comes down to that, because at the end of the day, when you generate more units, the client feels, okay, I'm saving more. I can put any panel and I can put any inverter. For the first 3-4 years, it will work. Everything will work decently. But after that, what's going to happen? So that's where we need to pay attention. So we'll just go through how net metering works. So as you can see in this diagram, there are panels. The panels absorb the light. It converts the DC, which is direct current, into AC. The inverter converts the DC to AC. Then you have from the inverter, it's going to go to the meter. So what the meter does, if there is consumption, we call it smart meters because we put bidirectional meters. If there is consumption inside your property, inside your house, whatever is generated is first absorbed into your house or your property. Only if there is an excess, it goes to the grid, which is point number 4, the utility grid. Then only it goes outside of your property. So now, for example, say around right now, your system is generating 10 units. Your consumption is only 7 units because you're using some equipment. The other 3 units would have gone to the grid, which is recorded by your bidirectional meter. Whereas, say you're generating 13 units, but your consumption is 15 units. The 2 units would have come from the grid. So this entire thing is recorded by a meter called bidirectional meter, which is the same companies which is installed by the local discom. Here in Karnataka, we have Bescom, Sescom, Hescom, many such grid companies. They are the ones that will commission the project. They are the ones that calibrate the meter. They are the ones that will come and install. We enter to a power purchase agreement with them for 25 years. So what this does is, you don't have to trust your installer like us, who's a Kawal Power, because your system is authenticated from the local company, utility board itself. Because at the end of the day, you are going to get a bill from them saying, okay, your system has generated 1,000 units. You have consumed 1,200 units. So you only pay for those 200 units. So that net billing is done through net metering. And this is the most, beneficial system available all across the world right now. So that's why there is so much push in the solar sector to keep renewing net metering. People want to keep renewing net metering.
Rakshit, just give a little bit of information. Say, for example, for a house of 5 people, where we have 3 AC and all of that, a TV, fridge, refrigerator, and all of that. What is the we require about 5 kVA to 6 kVA power. So if I had to install a solar for the entire house, how much it would cost, and what would be the maintenance cost of it year on year or month on month?
So, say for a 5 kilowatt system, you are going to end up spending about 3 lakh rupees plus GST. So the 3 lakh rupees covers end to end from the moment you give us the order until the paperwork is done and the project is commissioned. That's our scope. What the maintenance is, 1 year free maintenance. After that, we charge you about 2% of the overall project cost. So for 3 lakhs, it's 6,000 per year.
Per year.
Okay, 2%. Now, what does that maintenance cover? I think Ashish already went into that. We have a checklist of 15 points that we do on a monthly basis, once a month. That is essential to make sure that it's almost like a preventive measure taken so that the system doesn't go offline. We also do online monitoring. We give you the access on your phone, your laptop, anywhere, where you can monitor what is my system generating on a day-to-day basis.
So for individual houses also, we can download an app and check our power generation.
Absolutely. We can show you those apps also. We will give you the access to that, and we will mention the name of your plant. You just click on that. It will show you what am I generating right now. It gets updated every minute. So you know the current generation also. You can go by month, week, year, however you want. And it will show you the savings that you have. So it will show you everything on those lines.
Okay. Anything about, I mean, you're doing the presentation, is done or?
We'll just continue. If there is any other questions, we will address it now. After this, we'll just show you the video of, Clark's and a couple of other videos. If anybody else has any direct questions related to solar, they can ask us.
Yeah, mostly in the particularly some area, the orientation, particularly the panels or the sun orientation, because sometime in the roof, there is some kind of some shade is there or some trees there, something like. It should be the roof should be completely the shadow free or something like some orientation should building up the building should be there.
Sure, sir. So I'll just throw light on the orientation. We are in the northern hemisphere, so we need to face our planet panels to the south. If somebody is in the southern hemisphere, they will face the panels to the north. And the tilt of the panel depends on the geographical location, like the longitude where you are at. So for Bangalore, it is 13-degree tilt. This will give you optimum generation, facing south at a 13-degree tilt. Having said that, there is no such hard and fast rule that you have to have a 13-degree tilt with the south orientation. Why? Because say 6 years ago, the efficiency of the panels was very less. So if you maintain this points, south and 13-degree, you would get good generation. Whereas now the efficiency is increasing. So even say, for example, somebody has an east-west A-type roof oriented east-west orientation. We always run it through our charts. run it through our software, and we get to know what is the percentage of losses that we can have, and which is usually very negligible. You can take about 3 to 5% is the losses, even if you orient it towards other surfaces. But if the tilt is too much, say the tilt of the structure is 20 degrees or above, or less than 5 degrees, then there will also be some losses. The beautiful thing about solar now is, even if there is shadow, there are certain technologies like SolarEdge is available, which comes with optimizer, and Enphase has something called micro inverters, which will perform even when there is shadow. So it is a case by case basis, we can say. Once we evaluate, we get to know how well how can I orient, what can I do here to generate the number of units. So ideally, south and the 13-degree tilt, giving example of Bangalore, but it can be done even in other places, other orientations.
One more question, Mr. Ashish. Particularly what is this kind of panel, because it's improved panel. What is the thumb rule for the area required for per kVA, something like? Suppose roof we have that way.
Normally, the thumb rule is that 70 square feet per kilowatt with the higher efficiency panel that we are using, which is more than 500 watt peak as of now. It all depends on the watt peak again. We are using 500 watt peak, so we say 70 square feet per kilowatt. If you are using 400 watt peak, you might require 80 square feet. But as the day goes on and the watt peak and the efficiency increases, we will reduce the square feet. As of now, it's 7.
And another thing I'd like to add is there is no such limitation that solar cannot be done on this roof or that roof. We have done solar on tile roof, like we, RCC, GI sheet, it can all be done. With today's technologies and the design capabilities, we can execute the projects on any rooftop. It's just that you need to have a good design team that can, and a structural team that can evaluate and pull off the job properly.
How do we start off? That's very important. So, how do we design the power plant? So, when we visit a property or a residential property, we look at their current consumption from the utility board. So, you will be receiving a monthly electricity bill, right? In that, they would have mentioned how much units are you consuming on a monthly basis. So, looking at that units, we do a reverse calculation of how much radiation is falling on that particular ground. We use a software called PVSys, where it shows that in this longitude and latitude. This is the radiation you can expect from 1 kilowatt. So we do a backward calculation and we arrive at a kilowatt. So the solar works in the daytime, but your consumption is 24 hours. So whatever we generate during the daytime, you will consume on a real-time basis. Let's say right now at this time we are generating 10 units, whereas your consumption during the day was only 5. You consume those 5 units, and the other 5 units would have pumped into the grid, would have sent to the grid, where it would have recorded in the direction meter, like a thing just 5 minutes ago. So this authentication of how much you have sent and how much you have received, you will get that authentication from the Westcom or the local utility board, and they do the net metering. What is net metering? Okay, let's say in 1 month you would have generated 100 units, and you would have sent let's say 100 units altogether. And if you have received 90 units, they minus the 100 units what you have sent with the 90 units you have received, and then for the difference of 10 units, they will pay you or you pay them. That's the system that we have. And this is the online monitoring system that you get with the solar. As you can see, this is the Clark's Exotica Properties online monitoring. As you can see, in the real time, we are generating about 160 kilowatt as of now. 170 kilowatt, whereas their consumption might be 300 or 400. Out of that 300, 170 is being consumed through the solar directly, and the other would be, and the other remaining units would have, they would be consuming from the desktop simultaneously. So there is no system like, okay, I'm using solar right now. Should I only use solar and then do I have to switch over? No. This is a system which is a grid interactive, and it works together with the desktop. As you can see, today's generation, we have generated about 725 units as of now. On a day-to-day basis, our target is to generate about 1,200 units. It's 1 p.m. And we are already at 725 on a day. As you can see, this is the graph on a day-to-day basis of how much we are generating. Here you can see we have generated 1,400 units. Some days we have generated 964 units. There will be a fluctuation of how much units we will generate on a day-to-day basis. But on an average, we will generate 4 units per kilowatt per day. This is throughout the year. In monsoon season, in winter season, the generation will be lower, but in summer it will be on a higher generations.
So for a 5 kilowatt system per day, you can expect 20 units. So if you times that by 30, 600 units a month. So if your house, you're consuming anywhere around 600 units, you go for a 5 kilowatt system, you can offset your energy needs completely. So whatever is only the fixed charges you pay for your utility board, you will pay that, but your entire bill will be offset. So just to simply explain that.
Yeah, Ashish, also in case of the space constraint, can be some solar tree or something can be used, because in some area there is some space constraint and we have 5 kilowatt requirement. So can be some solar tree or something can be used for the.
Sorry, we didn't catch that point. Solar, you mentioned solar
tree, something solar tree. I mean, some kind of, because some space constraint there, so not sufficient space for the 5 kilowatt. I mean, some kind of other like solar tree or something can be used for that.
You can pretty much put the panels anywhere. Now, what happens is when you tie up with your local utility board, they have some limitations. So in Bangalore, for example, they'll tell you need to put it only on your rooftop. Even if you put it on your garden, they will not give you permission because it comes under rooftop policy. So if say, for example, you have a farmhouse and you don't want to depend on the local utility board and apply for the load and all that, you can install the panels anywhere as long as it is shadow free and you're able to have that much space. You can install anywhere and you can generate the units. I will just play the video as of now.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the Clark's Resort. So this is an elevated structure on one of the buildings that we have built. So in this resort, we have done on about 6 buildings. 2 of them are sheet roof and the rest are elevated structures on an RCC. The reason we have elevated is so that you can fit more kilowatts and at the same time, you can protect the equipments underneath. And the generation also, of course, will be much higher because we've oriented towards the south and put it as per our design, with the tilt. So this is a sheet roof project. It is a GI sheet of 0.5 mm. You can, as I said, you can do the project on any rooftop. So here we have multiple RR numbers, meaning multiple meters, and we have commissioned the plants individually. This is one of the commercial, conventional halls.
Convention center.
Yeah, convention center in Clarks. We have another commercial project we'll just showcase to you. So this is a 226 kilowatt project, which is done in the heart of Bangalore. It is taking care of their entire power consumption, and the buyer, the consumer, is pretty much getting a zero bill from the local utility board. And as you see, the yellow things that you're seeing are our walkways, which we build to maintain the plants. This is a 540 watt peak module that we have used here, which is the latest available in India right now. So that means for 1 kilowatt, we need less than 2 panels. So by doing this, we save huge on space. Whereas this project, if you had used, say, some of our Indian panel manufacturer panels, we would have only been able to do about 160 kilowatts. Whereas since we have imported the latest panels, we have done about 226 kilowatt on the same rooftop.
Being said that, we are expecting Indian manufacturers to gear up and also produce higher watt peak solar panels.
Yes.
We are a company who supports local manufacturers and the components. But because of the higher efficiency as of now being produced elsewhere, we are forced to buy those panels. But we see a change in trend in the communities.
Yes. Sir, I think pretty much we have covered most of the points. If there is anything, any particular other questions, do let us know. We'd be happy to address.
Sir, may I have a question?
Yeah, sure, you can go ahead, please.
Sir, can you tell me, there are 2 components in the sunlight, heat and brightness. Which is more effective? Heat, brightness and heat.
So heat is a thermal energy, which is right now used mainly for the solar water heaters that you put on your houses. As the temperature goes up, your water heats up. The light is more efficient because light is, you always have light. Even when there is sun, even when there is cloud, snow, light is always there. Whereas thermal energy is dependent on the temperature, and temperature is, not all the time you can get that sort of efficiency from thermal plant. But whereas the light is always more efficient. That's what we use for our. It's called photovoltaic system. It comes from the word photons. Photons is the basic unit of light. So it absorbs those photons and then converts that into electricity. It's a very simple technology, which has been around for, in fact, 70 years. Our first satellites were launched with the same technology. It is just now coming to, commercial and or the masses, I can say.
Ashish, is there any central or state subsidy on that actually you're getting or something?
So basically, there are subsidy plans, but when we are talking about solar power plants being installed on commercial and industrial, there are no subsidy as of now. But for residential, we see a subsidy program run by the local utility boards itself. That means that you cannot choose a private players to install those solar systems. You need to choose the utility board to do that job. I don't want to talk negative about that.
No,
I just wanted to
my point is from the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy or the State Renewable Energy Department. SN is there, State Renewable Agency for Renewable Energy. For residential, any subsidy for suppose up to 5 kilowatt, anybody want to go? Is there any subsidy on that?
So, like I mentioned, there is a subsidy program that is run by the local utility board itself. That means that you need to choose them as your vendor. Who will come, they will install, they will do that. We will not have any role. You will not have any control over what components that they will be installing on your roof. They will have a set of materials that they will use, and you do not have control over that.
And also,
currently they are not giving, if anything, for residential, but for commercial they were giving, but that also has stopped now. I guess government to government and party to party, they have their own what do you call plans. So it was there in Karnataka for commercial, but not for residential.
Okay.
Even from the industries department, they had certain subsidies. They have stopped that.
Earlier used to be a lot of subsidy from the including from MNRE or the State Nodal Agency, SNA. They were used to give subsidy for this such kind of promotional programs, particularly rooftop solar also. But I don't know. I mean, currently, what was its status? Yeah.
Right now, I think they're giving a subsidy for these water pumps for agriculture lands. For that, there is subsidy available from the government. But for rooftop solar, for residentials and commercials and industrials, there is nothing that we have seen. We have been in the industry for 6 years. We have not seen any such subsidies. So hopefully we can see.
Because I think the cost has come down. I mean, what we used to be. Yeah, that's what used to be about 1 lakh per kilowatt. Now comes to around 60,000 something or less than that of the per kilowatt in the per smaller unit.
Sir, if you're looking at a residential, it's about 60,000 per kilowatt. But the moment you go for bigger 100 kilowatts and above, you're looking at about somewhere around 40,000 per kilowatt. So that is what we charge in terms of.
And if you got a megawatt bigger project, they definitely have much less. I mean that project. Yeah.
Yes, it will be lesser. Yes, it will be
scale of what kind of plant you are going to use.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think any other question by anybody? Any else? We have the 5 minutes. Something we can.
On the chat box, I see a question from Mr. Joshi. What about maintenance cost and when the battery is to be changed? How much is the cost of the battery? As this is a scheme where we are proposing a net metering scheme, we will not be installing any batteries. The system is directly connected with the grid, and whatever the excess unit is generated is supplied to the grid. So you are pretty much using the local utility board as your temporary storage system. So anything that you generate excess in the daytime now being supplied to the grid, and one in the evening when the solar shuts off and you start consuming the normal energy from the farm, you're just utilizing the energy that you had sent during the day, which was excess. So this is called the net.
Sir, there is no such thing to say that, I mean, we use batteries for off-grid systems and hybrid systems, but we as a company do not promote batteries for our projects, mainly because until and unless you don't have a grid connection at all. If you're on off-grid, if you're somewhere, as I mentioned, in a farmhouse or something, you definitely need a battery to back up. Other than that, batteries you need to change every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So what happens? Your recurring cost is more on batteries. Whereas this facility of net metering gives you that option to use the infrastructure of the utility board to use them as a temporary storage point. So you don't have to store the power at your property. You're storing it in their grid and you're using it whenever you want. So that's the advantage of the net metering system that we want to propose. Having said that, of course, there are batteries, latest batteries that are available from companies like Tesla, which are lithium-ion batteries. If somebody wants to go and they want to go completely off-grid, we can build such plants.
Provide that, but the battery is light.
But I think it is better for a standalone system to use battery, and if you have all the facility of the grid net metering facility or a grid connection, definitely one must go for the net metering.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think we have anybody else? Anybody wants to any other question, or we can just sum up the. So first, I request Balaji to say few words, then we can close the session after that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for providing this opportunity, Doctor. And also, I want to thank Mr. Rakshit and also Mr. Ashish, who are actually, kind of behind us to, implement the system, and we are already seeing the result. And even in my house, I want to change, I want to implement a solar system, and I request everyone to do this. It's a great thing to do, and you're helping yourself, and you're also helping the nature, and also helping the world. So I request everyone to consider this and implement. It's not very expensive. It may sound expensive, but actually it is not. You will save a lot, and you'll also be helping the environment. And thank you for providing this opportunity, Doctor, and also Rakshit. Thank you for sharing all the information and giving the in-depth knowledge of the entire how it works, and also Ashish for giving more technical information on the entire subject. I thank you on behalf of HeartCare Foundation of India.
So, just the last thing, in the chat box, I'll leave our company website. So you guys anybody can go to our website and see for more information. We have all the projects, videos. If you have any questions, we are always there to answer.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to us.
Thank you.